Hello, friends. We are traveling this week, so instead of a regular episode, this is an episode of Bugs Need Heroes, a podcast in which an ecologist and an illustrator team up to create a new insect-inspired superhero each episode. They kindly had me back on for a second time to brainstorm a mantis shrimp-themed superhero. I always have tons of fun talking with them, and I think that you're all going to have tons of fun listening to it, so enjoy. Bugs Need Heroes presents the Painbow.
Hello, friends and fiends. Welcome to Bugs Need Heroes, a podcast where an artist and an entomologist team up to illustrate the inspiring abilities of insects by creating bug-themed superheroes. I'm Amanda.
I'm Kelly.
Producer Derek and Desdemona are also here. Before we get started creating this bug-inspired hero, what's bugging you, Kelly?
Just computers are annoying. That's about about it. Uncooperative machinery is what's bugging me.
I dropped mine today.
Your computer?
I had my whole computer. I had it in like a tote bag, and I thought my arm was in the tote bag, so I was swinging it over my shoulder. And then I swung it into nothingness, and it landed on the asphalt of the road.
Oh,
and
no.
The noise I made could only be described as anime-esque, like, so, it's okay. It's got a little bump on the corner, and I'm upset about it, but, I can't afford to replace it, so.
Yeah.
This is the episode where Bugs the Hero starts a Patreon to replace Amanda's clumsy computer dropping ways.
Is that also what's bugging you today is flying machinery?
Just flying machinery. My sister was in town this week, and I'm pretty
nice.
sure, but man, we took the cousins, all this group of cousins to the park like every single day. And I'm pretty sure I got a sunburn in my hair part.
Oh, that's the worst.
It is
Ow.
the worst. So now my head's really itchy.
Oh. Yeah, I saw some photos from your family outing. It looked quite nice.
Yeah, Monkey Park is awesome, right?
Yeah, where Derek was forced to be an uncle. It was
yes.
We
did take him to the local science museum, and Derek isn't super interested in kids below the age of, I'd say, 7. Once they're elementary school age, they start to like have questions, and then Uncle Derek's a little bit more interested in them. So the oldest cousin is 8, and the next one down is 5.5. So we went to a dinosaur exhibit, so he was able to do some Uncle Dereking.
Nice. And we have a special guest today.
We do have a special guest today who needs to go to the Science Museum in Portland.
I went to the Science Museum in Portland.
Excellent. Did you love it?
I loved it. It was great. It was really good. We took our kids, and they really liked it too. So we had a really good time. We really liked that. It's a great museum.
It's great. We love it.
The OSMI or Omni or whatever it's
OMSI, OMSI, Oregon Museum of Science and Industry? ?
That's there too.
The industry keeps disappearing, because it's in an old factory, like an old power plant on the river. So it used to have all this here's how energy is made, but every time they improve the building, they get rid of a little bit more of that stuff.
It's the Museum of Theseus.
Exactly. It definitely feels that way. There's one big engine in the middle of what they call the turbine hall, because that's where all the turbines used to be. And so there's a couple remnants, and the overall shell of the building is still very factory-esque. But you used to be able to look down into the subfloor and see all the old machinery, and the most recent refurb, they covered that up. So
it's a very cool museum. I was very impressed. It was nice.
Good. It's a good
For
one.
my first time to Portland, it was a good first impression.
Yeah, and it's dinosaurs right now, so
nice.
It's a good time. My 2-year-old really loved the dinosaurs until one of the dinosaurs was animated, and then she was like, "Oh, I'm out of here. Goodbye. I'm not getting eaten today."
I
did have a great moment where up here right after we moved to, we don't live in Seattle. We live kind of 30 minutes outside of Seattle, but I used to live in Seattle when I was a little kid, had, moved back to Florida for 20 years and then came back. And when I was up here with my kids, I was like, I have to take my kids to my favorite place when I was a kid, the Pacific Science Center in Seattle. It was much more geared towards kids than I remembered it being, because I was a kid at the time. So I thought this was just how all science museums were. And then, but they still had the dinosaur animatronics that I very clearly remembered from when I was a kid. It was so like emotional. It was like going back to see an old family member, right? It was like, I was like, I've come home, my friends.
I had that with, we were at OMSI, and for some reason there's like this little kids like under kindergarten age room, right? And they have like a science lab in there, and they always, when I was a kid, I remember them always having oobleck in there. That like the cornstarch stuff. And for some reason that room was like all set up, watercolors and trains and light ups and a whole table of oobleck, and nobody was in there. And so I was like, cousins, come. And so like they were like, what is this stuff? This is awesome. And I was like, yes 20 years ago, me, now you.
That's the fun part of parenting, is like showing your kids the stuff you loved as a kid. That's the fun part for me.
I'm going to interject. We didn't actually say hello to Ellen
Weatherford
from Just the Zoo of Us.
Hi.
Ellen Weatherford from Just the Zoo of Us.
I forgot.
Ellen, yeah.
I was just like, hey guys,
we just got straight to hanging out, you know.
I'm also here hanging out.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm Ellen. Hi. If you've listened to this podcast for a long time, you may have heard my voice before.
Yeah, she was on the Pokemon episode.
Welcome back, Ellen.
Yes,
yeah,
thank you.
Well, you fit in so easily. It's hard to like get a
clearly
to introduce.
I really do feel like flows. Ellen is the middle of the sliding scale between Kelly and I, of like golden retriever energy to like sophisticated learned cat.
I'm a very elegant and very sophisticated and elegant person.
You're like the Shiba Inu between me and Kelly.
I think Shiba Inu is a pretty good comparison.
It's like a cat dog. They say it's a cat personality running on dog hardware.
It is. A friend of mine growing up had one, and yeah, they are like cats. It's weird.
What peculiar dogs. They're very cute, but they're very cute, so I'm very happy to be compared to them. I was thinking my hair right now looks a little bit like I'm a Cocker Spaniel.
Yeah, it's like Lady from Lady and the Tramp.
I have very Cocker Spaniel hair right now, which is great. It's not up in ponytails or anything.
Hair,
this is just how it is. Look, it's not up. This is just the way it looks.
I'm jealous.
Yeah,
my hair is like
very jealous.
Pin straight, and my poor 2-year-old daughter also has it. So all these other kids have like cute little curls, you know, and wah.
You always want what you don't have, because I can't tell you how many hours I spent straightening my hair like as a teenager. So
yeah,
my sister has curly
envy
hair.
always works in the opposite direction.
I think it really does. I think like there's no like, yes, I have the perfect nose, said no one. You know, everyone's always like, my nose is not right.
Yeah, mine's always a nose issue. I think my nose is too large for my face.
It's a beautiful face. Do not worry. As someone with the opposite problem of a tiny button nose.
Can't relate.
Derek doesn't relate. Maybe this is a lady friend problem.
We're narrow casting.
Oh no.
Well, I think so. Today we are going to discuss an animal who I believe is perfect in every way.
The pinnacle of evolution.
That Ellen has covered on her podcast as well. And this may be controversial in calling them bugs even, but
is it bugs? We've asked that question on this podcast before. What really qualifies as bugs? And I would say this is sea bugs.
Sea bugs?
Sea bugs.
So what bugs?
So for the listeners, the topic today is the mantis shrimp.
It's a wet bug.
The darling of the internet. Yes.
They had a real moment, like in social media wise. They were like anyone was talking about for a while.
It's since been replaced by the axolotl.
Yeah, for sure. And the axolotl, Minecraft put a lot of work in for the axolotl.
Yeah.
I think
Minecraft really did the heavy lifting for the axolotl.
Yes. So with the mantis shrimp, I think they had their little pop culture moment. There was a sort of 1-2 punch. I think first was an episode of Radiolab. There was an episode of Radiolab called Colors. And the mantis shrimp focused or was featured very heavily in that episode. And it was a very like fun episode of Radiolab where they had like a choir singing music to represent colors, and it was very creative and very fun to listen to.
I love Radiolab.
Radiolab is this was during like their peak sort of like very experimental, like I think in retrospect they're kind of embarrassed now about like how much they sort of over-engineered the sound in these episodes, but I loved it.
I think it's great.
So fun to listen to. Yes.
The episode where they talk about like how speech becomes music was the basis of my younger brother's marching band performance, was all based on the sometimes behave so strangely, like that little clip.
Yeah.
Like that was a whole 7-minute marching band show.
Wow.
So Radiolab had a really cool episode on colors where they talked about mantis shrimps, and I think that episode, which was already like big, but within like science radio, like NPR listeners.
Yeah, it was the NPR podcast before podcasts were huge.
Yeah, so it was really, really popular, but like within a pretty niche sort of audience. But then I think what really like launched this into a more mainstream thing was the Oatmeal. Which at the time was just a webcomic, but a very, very popular webcomic. And the Oatmeal did a little like webcomic about mantis shrimps.
Kind of like a love letter to mantis shrimps.
Oh, it was really lovely. It was a really nice, webcomic about mantis shrimps. And I think that kind of skyrocketed mantis shrimps into like mainstream appeal. I guess that was still pretty much sequestered to like science nerd audiences, but it was kind of like if you were like a little bit of a science nerd, you'd probably heard about mantis shrimps. So I feel like there was that moment, and that would have been around 2015, I want to say.
So like 2010, 2012, I think.
Yeah. So it's settled down quite a bit, but I think they still get a lot of spotlight. And also there's been new research as to like what's actually going on with mantis shrimps, which I think is cool.
I watch a lot of children's shows, particularly kid shows about animals, like that just comes up, and there's always a mantis shrimp episode.
Oh, for sure.
So
you can't go wrong. You're gonna get the kids in.
Yeah.
This is an easy one to get kids interested in because there's a lot happening.
Well, like they're colorful. Their mechanisms are mysterious and yet obvious at the same time. Like it's punching, but also all this other stuff. Like it's really as close to a superpower as I think you could get.
I think we're going to end up with quite a few superpowers. For this
so
group.
I actually prepared. I went back, I looked at notes that we've done on mantis shrimps in the past. I also kind of refreshed our notes, like looked to see if anything else had come out about them. Since because our first episode on mantis shrimps was like 5 years ago. So I was like, okay, we're going to need to kind of look to see. And I also, a couple years ago, had an episode that I recorded with a marine like neurophysiologist who studies specifically mantis shrimp brains and like their like visual systems, how they connect to the brain and stuff like that, which was an amazing conversation. Really, really cool. Really glad that was with Alice Chow. So yeah, that was really, really fun. And I really wanted to kind of identified what I think are 3 superpowers of the mantis shrimp. First of all, shrimps is bugs. Like, get off my back about it. I'm a kind of a bug anarchist.
We are here too. We are like kind of blank slate, crunchy on the outside, gooey on the inside, and
That's
let's not. That's a bug.
Yeah.
We're the opposite. We're chewy on the outside, and then our hard parts are on the inside.
Crunchy
so
on
if
the
the hard
inside,
parts are on the outside, I think that's a bug.
It's bug enough for me. Bug enough for me.
But then I take it a step further. I think worms is bugs.
Yeah.
A worm
they
is
are
a
the
bug.
exception that proves the rule. Also,
slugs is bugs.
Slugs
is bugs.
I think snails. Snails, you get a little bit of both. They're still hard on the outside.
When you try to eat them, they swoop right in there, crunchy on the outside, gooey on the inside.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's like you can't really define what it is, but you know it when you see it. You're like, I know a bug when I see one.
There's a lot of conditions to being a bug, and some of them are contradictory, and that's fine.
It's a
bug if I say it's a bug.
It's a vibe.
It's a vibe. It's a vibe. You're like, look at that thing, bug.
And this is giving bug.
It is giving. Because like octopus, not giving bug.
No,
despite
not at all.
Having many of the same characteristics as many of the animals we just listed. Not bug.
Not bug. Clearly not. Not even close. But other mollusks can be bugs.
But like nautilus, I could see the argument for like almost bug
because it's almost
adjacent.
It's almost a snail.
Almost a snail that has become free.
It's rapidly approaching bug.
Well, the thing about mantis shrimp though is I know we say shrimps is bugs, but mantis shrimp aren't shrimp.
What?
And
right.
Of course, neither are they mantids, but no, they're not shrimp.
They're neither mantis nor shrimp.
No.
Science.
And the one that most people usually talk about when they're talking about mantis shrimps, because there's tons of different species of mantis shrimps. There's a whole group of stomatopods.
250 species, and the order is Stomatopoda. So they're actually their own order, which is pretty high when we go up to when we're thinking about taxonomy.
Yeah, it would be like, if whenever anyone thought of any primate, they were only thinking of like a chimpanzee. Like,
yeah.
So, but the one that people usually think about, the really, really colorful one with like the cool like blues and greens and reds and stuff, that's the peacock mantis shrimp. Mm-hmm. Also not a peacock. So peacock mantis shrimp, they're 0 for 3.
Truly disguise powers high on this one's list of just sleight of hand.
This is why we use binomial nomenclature in science, because it can be confusing.
There she is.
Look at this beautiful
brought
peacock.
up a picture in the chat. What a specimen.
Gorgeous.
Look
at the
beautiful
colors.
Creature.
Absolutely beautiful. And you can see in this image why people think they are shrimp, because they have a very similar body plan to shrimp and lobsters. Look, that back end is quite lobstery.
Very lobstery on the back end.
Especially if you see the tail, if you get a good look at the tail, it's got a very like sort of definite lobster tail, or like it even looks like an isopod almost, like at the back. Like if you've ever seen the back end of like a giant isopod or something, it has that kind of tail.
That tail is really important for swimming in all kinds of invertebrates in the ocean. It's just nature doesn't like to waste a lot of time. So if a form works, you're going to see it pop up repeatedly.
So like we already solved this.
yeah. Let's not reinvent the tail.
We already made one of these for lobsters. Stick it on there.
Just make it work. But what's kind of interesting, so we think that they've been called shrimp for so long, and they're not. So they all belong to one big class called Melicostraca. And then the mantis shrimp, so they broke off from the decapods. The decapods is a very big group, about, I think it was 340 million years ago. So they're very separate. They're like very separate groups, and both have continued to evolve. And I think, Derek, I have a phylogeny image in there, if you can pop that up real quick. Because I know sometimes looking at phylogeny, thinking about it can be difficult. So you can see the mantis shrimp. I'm pointing on my screen, but you guys can't actually see that. But you can see decapods up top. There's a little grouping. And then there's Stomatopoda, and how they've differentiated. Look at the branching that happens towards the bottom. So that just means we have a lot of space between these two groups. Is that a little easier to see?
This goes back to that whole idea of like humans are categorizing things, and the rules of how to categorize things are also made up by humans. And so just kind of like whatever happens. And so like as we went through a whole stage where we named everything, and now it's kind of like we have to go back and ungroup things that we grouped via name, because now we've discovered that they're actually quite separate creatures.
Oh no, we did a bad job.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah.
We organized this wrong.
But I mean, these images, they're showing the little artworks are the larval form, and you can see how close they look.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
But again, nature loves an easy body plan, and if it works, it works, because they're all coming from the same common ancestor. So you're going to see a lot of similarities in the forms.
Isn't there like a special word for everything becoming crabs? Carcinization.
Carcinization, yeah.
Because it's like the superior body plan, so eventually everything just becomes crabs.
It just works.
Yeah. Hard on the outside, gooey on the inside.
Well, the idea is that like the carcinization, like, it became a meme because it's like we're all going to become crabs, but it's like that body plan only really works for crabs. Like it's kind of like specific to like the internal anatomy, like the organs and like how their breathing works and stuff. Like
I recently saw a crab like deshelling on an internet, video that went
like
viral.
a hermit crab?
No, like a regular hard shell crab was like leaving his old shell to reharden.
Like molting.
Yes, molting. That's the word I'm looking for.
No,
no thank you.
No thanks.
That's gonna be a no thanks from me.
Don't want to see it.
Horrifying. It was like there's an episode of SpongeBob where he has to molt, and I thought of that, and I was like, they did not.
It's hard to pull your
soft
body out of a very stiff carapace. It's a lot of organisms who have to molt don't make it through that process. It's incredibly stressful.
Well, I think we talked about how like they think lobsters would live forever if they could molt successfully after a certain size. They like don't break down the way humans do.
I don't think they would live forever, but
forever.
Lobsters haven't reached immortality.
You don't know.
I used to have pet hermit crabs, and luckily they had the decency to molt under the sand. So they would like go under the sand.
Proper little gentlemen.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, get it together. We don't need to be showing the whole world that it's.
Also, hide from predators. What are you doing? You don't want to be on the surface when you're
even humans get naked in a dressing room, despite the fact that it does not change our vulnerability to predators at all.
Speak for yourself, Amanda.
Oh no, Kelly's getting wild at the Goodwill.
Just because we mentioned carcinization a minute ago, and I'm not going to waste a good analogy because I came up with a good analogy for carcinization when I was doing a video on it like a long time ago, and because the idea is that like this is a body plan that you see happen a lot in crustaceans because it works for crustaceans and it works for like what they've got going on inside their body, but like it's not something you're going to see non-crustaceans develop because it just doesn't work for what they're trying to do. And the analogy I came up with was like, you think about how if you look back like 20, 30 years ago, every video game controller looked different. You had like the rectangle Nintendo one, you had, joysticks, and like every sort of video game console had like a unique, easily identifiable controller. The shapes were different. Even like up into like the 90s or early 2000s, the controllers you look at one, like it's a Nintendo or it's an Xbox or, it's a PlayStation. They had like unique shapes and unique button layouts. They looked very different from each other. But over time, over the decades that they've been out, they've all converged around the same shape. Now you look at a PlayStation, an Xbox, and a Switch controller, like the Switch Pro controller, they look, if you lay them out side by side, they are indistinguishable from each other. Yeah. Like they're black, they have the exact same shape, they all look the same general button layout.
Ergonomically the same.
Yeah. Yes. So like you see all the video game controllers with a similar shape because that's what works for a video game controller, but you don't see that same shape in something like a TV remote or a cell phone. Like it's not that that's like the perfect technology shape. That's just what works well for a video game controller. That same shape's not going to work for like other technology. So yeah, like I have fun with the memes. I like the memes. But also like I feel like carcinization is a little bit more specific than like,
well, you know how the internet gets a little wild sometimes.
I know, and that's fine. I'm not gonna get mad at anybody about it.
I mean, we did an episode a while back about the Sol de Janeiro body butter and the wolf spiders.
Yeah, the spider body butter.
And that's because the internet went crazy. And actually, it's my favorite body butter.
Because of the spiders.
I bought it for the episode, really, and tried it, and it's great. But sadly, 0 spiders. No spiders.
That's false marketing.
Yeah, I'm very upset by it.
I was promised spiders.
Yeah. I was promised I would awaken in a suit of spiders. A mech suit of...
I just watched Spaceman the other night, and that is
oh, yeah.
quite the comparison. Very good.
Derek loves Spaceman.
Very good movie, yeah. I had a whole lot of feelings
appeared in the chat, gave a thumbs up, and then disappeared.
That's how you know it's good when he deigns to show himself briefly.
Yeah. It just pops in and pops out. But like the other thing popping up on the internet right now, speaking of spiders in the internet, is those Joro spiders. Like all my feeds are like, the Joro spiders are coming. The Joro. I saw one just this morning that was like, Joro spiders, New York City? ? I'm like,
You're like, come on, calm down, everyone.
Like
Let's
the
relax.
idea that the Joro spiders are a kaiju that's rapidly approaching. It's like got a trajectory for New York City, and they're like, not again.
Spider. No. Climbing up that Empire State Building. It's
like,
got
we
a
do
tiny
this every
woman.
year. I can't believe this.
We're still dealing with the spotted lanternflies. We can't handle a Joro spider right now.
But
hear me out.
What if they canceled each other out?
Let them cook. I'm saying let them in.
They're coming.
Well,
the lanternflies.
We will have a short episode about the Joro spider where I'll share, I think, some pretty interesting information. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, do I want to watch them fight the spotted lanternfly? Yes, I do.
Yes,
that would be cool. A cage match.
I'd be into this.
This is real life Pokemon battling.
Dun, 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 dun.
We could
Let them fight.
Kind of the closest we're going to get to real life Pokemon battling, because these are both animals that have been brought into a situation by humans and are like
now they have to deal with it
against each other.
Here they go.
Well, I guess we're really good at we love a good tangent here.
We should get back to mantis shrimp.
Let's mantis shrimp it up.
So the number one thing I know about mantis shrimp, the number one thing. Well, I know a couple things because, like I said, I watch a lot of kids, Kratts Creatures-esque television shows. Is the punching. That I think is like the main headline is the punch of the mantis shrimp.
Yeah. So when you kind of look at a mantis shrimp, you would maybe guess that those like big feathery frilly pieces, and I'm sorry, I looked and I could not find what those things are called.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're called antennal scales.
Antennal scales. Thank you.
They're used to signal back and forth between mantis shrimp. So mantis shrimp can fluoresce that we're not seeing with our boring eyes, but they can. And so they flash these antennal scales about to communicate either like, I'm a good mate, I'm very healthy, look at how bright my nonsense is, or I'm angry, you're in my territory, we're about to throw down. I'm probably bigger than you, which means I can punch harder. You don't want to mess with me. And then there's a lot of signaling that goes on between male mantis shrimp, especially before a battle, because they can very easily kill each other. If you can crack open a crab with those, what they're called raptorial appendages, what they punch with, you can certainly mess up a fellow mantis shrimp. So you want to do a lot of chit chat and a lot of posturing before a fight happens, because you don't want to fight.
A lot of male animals that do this fighting thing, though. A lot of times they're like, oh, you don't want to mess with me. Oh. And then one of them will back down before it ever gets to blows, right?
There's a lot of bluffing involved.
It's too dangerous. One of my favorites are fiddler crabs with one big arm, right?
They're one beefy arm there.
I'm giving Y-I on
they like shake them around like that. It's very silly. And they'll like go up to each other, and the males are shaking their big stupid Popeye arms. And what's great is that sometimes that claw has grown, but the inside of the claw hasn't quite caught up yet, so it's all a big lie. And that it could be empty and harmless.
They're just holding an empty big shell.
It's anchor arms. It's anchor arms from SpongeBob.
It really is.
So you gotta like bluster your way through it, just in case, because you don't want to get hit because that claw's not ready yet. It's still baking.
Extremely funny. They're like, I actually only need it to look really scary.
Yeah. Eventually it'll fill in and they'll have like a good hard claw, but
in the meantime, he just carried around an empty vase, incredibly delicate. But he's like,
excuse me. Yeah.
It's a muscle suit.
The potential of my muscles is.
Yeah. We should do a whole episode on lying in the animal kingdom, because there's
that'd be very good. A bluffing episode.
I would have so much fun with that, because I love animals and I love lying. So that would be really fun for me.
Channeling some Minthara vibes there, Eleanor.
I love lying.
And I love lying.
I wish I hadn't been taking a drink of water for that one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Your timing could not have been worse. Well, it's funny because you mentioned that like these crabs will have like big claw with not a lot of muscle inside. And what I think is interesting about the mantis shrimp, because you mentioned they have that raptorial appendage. It's not like you mentioned, the antennal scales. It's not those things. Like I kind of feel like for a long time I thought that's what they were punching with, but underneath those they have these but underneath those they have these little T-Rex arms that they just kind of like pop out from like they hold them real close to their chest. And it's funny that they call them raptorial appendages because it does look like a little raptor, like a raptor dinosaur. Like they hold them close to their chest. But those things are not powered by muscle. Like it's not muscle that they're punching with because muscle wouldn't be able to accelerate that quickly. It's a spring. Can
you show the diagram of that?
It's a saddle shaped structure in their raptorial appendage. It's one of these. Hold on. I don't remember. Yeah, here it is. If you look up in the top right corner where it says the saddle, and I was reading this article about how that's actually made of a bioceramic. That it's made of like a ceramic like material, which is insane. Like that is crazy. But they're basically able to like store energy like a spring, and then when they're ready to punch, they just release it. So instead of having to like push to like generate the acceleration, they just release it and it just propels it at this like blinding speed. The highest speed I saw recorded for it was 23 meters per second, which is about the speed of a 22 caliber bullet.
Right. Yep. It's about over 10,000 G.
This guy's walking around fully loaded at all times. He's ready.
No safety.
No safety.
And you can see they come in different shapes as well. So there's generally 3 types, which are the either like the hammer or the club, which is used to crush and smash, right? There's the spear. And then there's what they call an undifferentiated, which is that bottom one.
All purpose.
But but look at all these. The undifferentiated one has little pinchums on it, which is kind of cool. But look at the variety you can get in arm types. It's just incredible.
We love good arms.
All deadly.
So cool. Yeah. So these will all ruin your day. Look at all these different ways they can ruin your day.
Well, one of their common nicknames is a thumb splitter because if you
visceral reaction to that because I thought of picking one up and it's just like your thumb. Goodbye.
If you catch one in Animal Crossing, New Horizons, have you guys played it?
Yes, many hours.
Okay, so you probably know what I'm about to say. But if you catch one in Animal Crossing and you display it, because when you like put it down somewhere outside of your inventory, it'll show up in this cute little like tank. Any fish, like any animal you bring up from the ocean will do this. You display it and it shows up as in a little fish tank. Mm-hmm. And then if you click on it to like interact with it, the mantis shrimp will punch the glass and leave a crack that's like visible in the tank. It is so cute.
That's cool.
And I've heard that's true, that they
do that in real life. Yeah.
That they don't captivate well.
People do not like having, because you can like end up with one in your tank by accident because they'll like burrow into rocks and like sand and stuff. So you could bring up some like coral or sand for your tank or something. You put it in there and now you've got a mantis shrimp in there and they will actually eat everything in your tank and then also break the glass.
They just come, eat everything, and then bust out of there.
Yeah, they're like, I've done what I needed to do. My job here is done.
I'm off to find someone else's tank to terrorize.
Although they are commonly kept as pets, so I kind of wonder how people deal with having a fairly destructive animal in their tank.
It's amazing what people will keep as a pet.
You probably have to set out with the intention of keeping a mantis shrimp. Have to get like a special tank with like special glass to not get busted open by one of these.
If you know how to keep a mantis shrimp as a pet, please let us know in the Reddit thread how it's done.
If you have one, I'd love to see. Yeah, I'd love to see it.
For sure.
Okay, just because you said it's crazy what people will keep as pets, and I have a specific story. I used to work at a pet store in Florida. And like not one of the fun.
Step one, be in Florida,
and not one of like the fun parts in Florida.
Yeah.
So I was working one night, and this group of guys, like 3 guys, young adult guys, that came in, and they were like, "Hey, what size tank?" They were looking at the fish tanks. They were like, "I see you got like 120 gallons, 240 gallons, something like that." They were like, "We got these big tanks." They're like, "What's the biggest tank you got?" I was like, "I don't know, man. Like the 120 gallon one?" And he was like, how many gallons do you think you would need to keep an alligator? And I was like, none, because that's illegal. And you're not allowed to do that. And they were like, okay, what if it's just a really big turtle then? And I was like, you showed your hand. I was like, you already, totally. Like, I already know what's going. I was like, I have to guess you've already caught it.
You already have it in your possession. And
it's probably in your. It's probably in the bed of your pickup truck in the parking lot.
Yeah, they're just driving around.
I was like, you probably already have this gator. And I was like, you already told me you plan on catching a gator. I was like, there's no way. There's no way I'm letting you out of here with a fish tank. Yeah. So I went and told my manager, I was like, hey, these guys are trying to find a tank to put a gator in. And they were like, okay, we're not going to. So luckily my manager was super cool. And like, if anybody came in with like the vibes were off, they'd be like, absolutely not. And they were like, we're not going to sell a fish tank to this dude because he clearly is in here looking to try to keep a gator. I was like, why would you do that? They're literally everywhere. You can't throw a rock without hitting a gator. Like, just go outside.
Up a pool in your backyard. The gators will come to you, fella.
They're like literally, they're right there. You don't need to get.
Gators
so yeah, people really will.
Huge. I can't even.
But they start so small, Kelly. That's how they trick you. They start off lizard size and then they become gator size.
I think they were expecting it to be the sort of like they'll only grow to the size of the tank thing. Like they were expecting that sort of. I was like, that's not how this is going to work, my man. I'm so sorry.
Not how this works, my man. He's coming for you.
We love our Florida listeners, but what's going on down there, guys?
What's going on, guys?
It's not good.
It's the Australia of the U.S.
Oh, don't do the Aussies dirty like that.
Don't insult
Australia. Wildlife. Oh yeah, we really have sequestered some of our most heinous.
Steve Irwin is crying.
Yeah,
crying in heaven.
I'm gonna try to reel us back into the mantis shrimp. Yes. Because since we were just talking about the punching, this brings me to what I think is a sub power of the punching. Like it's like a sort of bullet point underneath the punching, but for the purposes of a superhero, I would consider it its own power, which is a heat blast. Like
yes, this is the part that that fascinates but also confounds me.
The cavitation bubbles.
Yes. Like I understand the physics of it because it's been explained to me several times, but also I don't understand the physics of it because like it seems impossible, and yet here we are.
Well, think about when you're pushing water, because you have to displace all this water just to get that little mantis fist through there. The incredible amount of pressure you need to exert on the water around you, and as this little limb kind of slices through the water, it creates what we call cavitation bubbles. And then those cavitation bubbles need to then collapse back into that space because nature abhors a vacuum, right? And all of that is just this immense amount of pressure and heat. And you can kind of consider it almost like a shock wave, if that's easier to think about when you're dealing with all that displacement.
It's the bubble that then collapses on itself.
But it's many bubbles that are all collapsing.
Oh, it's many
at once.
So many. It's like as close to fusion as I can imagine in my brain.
It's like a bomb.
It feels like that part in Spider-Man 2 where Octavius is like trying to control the sun. And like you just instead of an octopus, he should have been a mantis shrimp. Then he could have controlled it.
But it's a pretty intense power.
It is like a little bomb going off. Like you punch so hard that it makes a bomb. And I was thinking about it, and this I feel like is obviously a power that is really only going to work in water. Right? Mm-hmm. Like you wouldn't really get the same sort of like fluid dynamics as if this was like out of the water. But since we're coming up with a superhero, and I think we have some free reign for, zhuzhing it up a little bit with some, sci-fi hand waving and techno babble, I think we can say that our mantis shrimp superhero should be able to make little heat blasts with their fists.
Yeah,
and just like you punch and a little like heat blast thing comes out.
Like the fists heat up almost like like a fire hands in like Dungeons and Dragons where you can make little flame hands.
Or like fire punch. There's a Pokemon move too, like fire punch. There's like all the different elemental punches.
So yeah, it would be maybe similar to that.
Yeah. But I like the idea of like being able to punch into like almost like a ranged attack, right? Because like even if they're outside of melee range, you could like pew, and maybe like we could really even dramatize it so that it like sends out a whole like heat ray or something. I just watched Godzilla -1. So I'm kind of
You're
imagining
about to get another thumbs up from Derek. Hold on.
There we go. There it is.
He loves -1.
That's a really good movie. That was the first Godzilla movie I've ever watched, like all the way through.
What?
I've never watched.
What an insane place to start.
You started at the top, brother.
Yeah, there's nowhere to go but down from there. It's the best one.
Well, because I've seen like bits and pieces of the other Godzilla movies, but always they were just kind of like on in the background when like other stuff was going on. This is the first one that I heard so many people talking about that I was like, I'm going to sit down and watch this whole movie.
In the theater. The next one you should watch is Shin Godzilla. I know you're a big Evangelion fan. Yeah, that one's great.
For sure. I do really want to watch that because I've seen like clips of it on TikTok, and the clips I've seen of it are like exactly what I'm into in a monster movie.
Yeah, you should do a Godzilla deep dive because it's a really interesting sort of like arc of like this started as a metaphor. It feels like it has a similar trajectory as Jurassic Park, but at a spread over 100 years rather than just crushed into 6 movies, of which one is great and some are okay, and then some are really bad.
Wait,
but
hold on, don't say too much more because this should be our next collab episode. You guys.
Okay, yes, you're absolutely right.
TM. No.
But like it has that similar arc of like it starts here and then it just kind of becomes something else, and now it's kind of becoming fine art again. It's really interesting that arc.
Yes, but I like the commitment to camp.
Oh yeah, always. Yeah.
It's a giant lizard. Like you gotta be okay.
I love the commitment to camp because even in like Godzilla -1, which is so serious and heavy, they were like, we do have to keep the very cheesy design elements. Like Godzilla still has to look like a dude in a Godzilla costume. And we do have to keep that very like corny sounding like 1950s is it a French horn that kind of like brass solo?
Here he is, Godzilla.
So we were watching it and like we're both engrossed in this movie, like, wow, this is a really cool movie. And then that music starts up and we just fall out laughing. We're like
well, it's perfect. It hasn't changed. I used to watch the black and white Godzilla with my dad when I was a kid. He's like a huge fan. And that horn is never differentiated. It's been the same thing. It's fantastic.
We love committing to a bit.
My husband Cody used to just get like 3 large pizzas, back in his 20s, and just watch Godzilla all day, eat pizza. We went and saw a Godzilla documentary at Rose City Comic-Con once, and it was sold as like this documentary about the history of Godzilla. But the documentary itself, its final cut was just a guy talking about how much he loved Godzilla. Like that was kind of it. And you're like, what was this documentary about? And the messed up part is he actually managed to get like some of the original actors and interview them. He didn't speak Japanese, but he like hired a translator and so like he had all the pieces to make a really interesting the history of Godzilla from an American perspective. And he blew it in the final edit. It just became like, I went to Japan. I love Godzilla. Here I am standing next to a Godzilla statue. So.
We love info dumping. This is someone's special interest, very much passion project.
Info dump documentary. And I was like, bro.
I mean, isn't that what we do in both of our podcasts anyway? We just info dump, but sometimes with experts. It's fine.
I think if Godzilla can have a heat blast, we can let our mantis shrimp.
We can let mantis shrimp have a heat blast.
Have a heat blast.
We don't even have to like charge up all of their spines first,
No, it's instant because you know why? Because they do all that charging up just like
it's already. The charge all the time in the arm.
They're just done. They're ready. They can charge at will.
Producer Derek is saying it's like Gambit from X-Men.
Oh yeah.
This is a knowledge gap for me. I know nothing. I have nothing on X-Men. Literally no information.
Banned from the podcast.
You have to go. 97 was so good. Anyway, so
Oh yeah, my husband was watching that one. It seemed really fun. I was like in the room while it was on, so that's how much I know about X-Men.
It really takes a lot these days. It feels like every time I don't know why they keep doing it. They keep like revitalizing IP, and then like everyone's all excited about it, and then the thing comes out, and they're like, "You destroyed my precious memories." And X-Men '97 is the first one in a long time I've seen where the fans were like, "You did it. You brought it
Nailed
back."
it.
10 out of 10, no notes.
Hey y'all, just taking a quick break to hear from our friends on the Maximum Fun Network, and we'll be right back to it, so stick around.
Hey, do you have a favorite episode of Star Trek?
If you do, you should also have a favorite Star Trek podcast.
Greatest Trek is about all the new streaming Star Trek shows, and it's a great companion to The Greatest Generation, our hit show about back catalog Star Trek that you grew up with.
It's a comedy podcast by two folks who used to be video producers, so it's a serious mix of comedy and insight that fits right into the Maximum Fun network of shows.
And Greatest Trek is one of the most popular Star Trek podcasts in the world.
So if you're following Lower Decks, Prodigy, or Strange New Worlds, come hang out with us every Friday as we roast and review our favorite Star Trek shows.
It's on MaximumFun.org, YouTube, or your podcatching app.
From the twisted minds that brought you the Adventure Zone, Balance and Amnesty and Graduation and Ethersea and Steeplechase and Outre Space and all the other ones, the McElroy brothers and Dad are proud to reveal a bold vision for the future of actual play podcasting. It's called the Adventure Zone versus Dracula.
Yeah, we're gonna kill Dracula's ass. We're gonna attempt. We haven't recorded all of it yet. We will attempt to kill Dracula's ass. The Adventure Zone versus Dracula.
Yes, a season I will be running using the D&D 5th edition rule set, and there's 2 episodes out for you to listen to right now. We hope you will join us. Same bat time, same bat channel for more fun.
I see what you did there.
I would be remiss while we're talking about mantis shrimp powers and to not talk about their eyesight
100%.
and the controversy
and the recent discoveries.
Yes. Yeah.
So I know from as the layperson, the story always went, and even in that oatmeal comic,
yes,
they talk about how the mantis shrimp has so many more color receptors than us. They must see a whole gambit of colors that we don't see. So their world must be so much more exciting than ours because they're seeing in UV and all these extra colors we can't imagine with our simple simian brains. Meanwhile, the new research shows.
So you mentioned simple simian brain. Our brains are incredibly complex and wired, real hardwired for vision and color vision. We have all these neurons. Primates have big brains. Our friends, the mantis shrimp, are sweet little dum-dums.
Crush the illusion.
They have all those extra color receptors because their tiny little brains cannot process combining colors like we can. So we have 3 color receptors in the human eye, and I think probably all primates. Someone can at me later if you want. And we use these 3, and they all light up when we're looking at different colors, and we can kind of blend these. So that's why we can see green and orange and all that. But the mantis shrimp, its brain can't do that. It does not have the processing power to light up all these neurons at once. So instead, it has special color receptors for all the colors it needs to see individually. Yeah.
So this time we thought it was opening up, the Photoshop array where it's like all the colors that you can slide to, but actually it's just been switchboarding between colors this whole time.
Yeah.
Oh my God, perfect, Amanda. Perfect. Yeah. It's a little switchboard operator.
It's because if like we were looking at 2 objects, like if we were looking at something or if we were looking at something that was purple, right? Our brain would be able to say, okay, the red receptors are seeing some red, the blue receptors are seeing some blue, the green receptors aren't seeing any green. So like we know we've got purple on our hands. But a mantis shrimp, it can just do like the one at a time, right? They'll be like, whichever one you're seeing is the one you're getting. So like if you held up 2 different shades of purple, your eyes can tell this one has more red in it than this one. So we've got 2 different purples on our hands. But with a mantis shrimp, if you held up like lime green and like chartreuse, which might have like a little more yellow in it than the lime green. Mantis shrimp is like that's the same object. It's the same picture.
The same picture.
Cannot tell the difference between the two colors. And like there was a study where they like tested the reception, like the sensitivity of different color ranges, and there are like peaks where like you can see they're sensitive to specific colors, but they can't tell the difference between the colors. Like if a color is like in between two of their peaks, they can't tell like that it's any different. They're like, that's just so like they're not as good. It's not that they have, this like incredible rainbow of colors that we don't have access to, but they can see stuff we can't see.
They can see UV and they can see polarized light, which we cannot.
Yeah,
which is like pretty important for those animals.
Yeah, I would argue that is a spectrum we cannot see. So like they do have access to like a picture, like they do have access to colors and light that we have no access to, but our ability to perceive colors would probably blow their minds probably more than theirs would blow ours, because we can see little tiny differences in between very subtle colors. So like that would probably be more shocking to them. Yeah. And Derek mentioned that they can see faster. And that was also something that I saw came up, that it is like this is a more efficient way to process color. So they can see very, very fast changes in color, but that it sacrifices precision for speed. So like they could see something very, very quickly. If you've ever looked at like a mantis shrimp's eyes, it has a sort of like Mona Lisa, almost like the eyes follow you wherever you go. And it looks like the pupil is moving around, but that's because they don't have a pupil. The guest I talked to about them, the guest I talked to about them described it as if you held a bundle of straws and like tilted it around, when the straws are pointing at you, they're going to appear black, because you're seeing through them. So like when you see that like pupil appearance, those are the tubes in their eyes that are pointing at you, but they're pointing in all the directions. Those are just the ones that are pointing at you, so you can see them.
Interesting. Yeah,
that's not where they're looking. They're looking everywhere. Those are just the ones you can see.
You can see the same thing when looking in praying mantises, because their eyes are large enough for us to kind of see that distinction.
I'm looking at a zoomed in picture now, and I gotta say, it also looks like he's squinting at me, like it almost like that. Sorry to reference SpongeBob too twice or whatever, but like there's this part where he's like, "I smell a smell, a smelly smell," and it's like that expression perfectly on the.
Well, mantis shrimp have a tight band of these. They're called ommatidia. These photoreceptors right in the center of the eye, and it breaks the eye up into three different hemispheres, and this concentration kind of allows them to make out shapes and distinctions in the landscape that the other two parts above and below that concentration can't do, and it also allows them to have depth perception, which is pretty neat. Most crustaceans do not have depth perception, but these guys have built this sort of incredible eye. And it helps that stalk can rotate 70 degrees. So they can be looking at two different things at the same time. Like, similar to a chameleon, but like way better. Like way more movable.
They can move the whole stalk rather than just the eyeball. Okay, I'm adding that.
I would not give him weird stalk eyes for a superhero.
No, I've gone...
horrifying.
I've gone with the eye stalks as buns on the top of the head.
Perfect.
Oh,
amazing.
But now I'm trying to like figure out if I can give this squinty expression, or if I should just do like a Cyclops visor mask sort of situation.
I like a visor mask.
I
visor
agree.
Mask is cool.
I've done the visor mask right now, and I think that's the way I'm going to leave it, because I don't want to like get into like why does she look like that?
I do like that. Like this is a quicker way to process color, but like at the sacrifice of precision, because I feel like every good balanced superhero needs a weakness, right? Like there's always one thing they can't do. And I feel like that's a good sort of like, they just don't have great color differentiation. Like I feel like that's a good sort of like
Geordie LaForge's visor and stuff.
Yeah, I think that's what we're going with. I remember in Static Shock, There was a character, Rubber Band Man, and he was like the perfect superhero. He was the best at it, but he had dyslexia. And so like every time he showed up, there had to be like some problem he had to solve by reading. And I was like, guys, how much reading do you have to do as a superhero? Like every single time he showed up, it was like, now's your chance, Rubber Band Man. You can do it.
Oh no, my one weakness, sans serif fonts.
The villains have left behind their evil plans, but it's attached to this clipboard and I can't read it. It was bad.
Oh, that sounds ridiculous.
That feels so like when like authors are writing what is obviously a very Mary Sue character, and they're like, but she's clumsy.
She's clumsy. She's late for anime school, you know. So
Sailor Moon, anyone?
Yeah, exactly. And she's always hungry, but still only weighs 102 pounds, you know. So somehow, not to call out Iron Flame directly, but
it would be funny if the mantis shrimp superhero was like trying to save the world or something. They had to like disarm a bomb that was going to blow up the world, and like the two wires they had to choose between cutting were like slightly different shades of
like
green,
orange and red. Yeah, exactly. They're like,
and they got like in the like comm system, they're like, all right, now cut the scarlet one, not the crimson one.
It's Cad Red. Do it now. You're running out of time.
Poor mantis shrimp.
Yeah,
our poor hero.
All I can think of is, you know, not to venture into the land of cliche, but when we were picking out wedding colors, and I'd be like, "What do you think?" to my husband, who could not give a hoot. Meanwhile, my perfect job would be to name the paint chip samples, because they always have such great names. Good. They're always like, a mantis shrimp thinks of sunsets, and then like there's the color, and you're like, that's it. That's what a mantis shrimp thinks a sunset is. But like you're like, do you like the ivory or do you like the bone? Do you like the eggshell or the cloud? You know, and it's like, these are all white to me. That means nothing. So meanwhile, I'm like looking up dye lots for fabric.
Amanda's husband is a mantis shrimp.
He's a dung beetle, and you and I both know that.
We got out of having to do that by like, our whole theme was like galaxy, like celestial. Mm-hmm. So I was like, anything from blue to pink. I don't care which one it is. I don't care what color it is. Yeah. It has to be anything from blue to pink.
Slides in that spectrum just fine.
Yeah, I was like, I don't care. And for my bridesmaids dresses, I was like, pick anything in this palette. I don't care what the dress looks like. I don't care what color it is. So one of these colors. Okay. And they happened to all pick, like, my maid of honor had blue. My other bridesmaids had purple and pink, and they just happened to create like the perfect gradient. Oh, cool. I was y'all could not have understood the prompt better. Like, y'all independently, they all had nothing to do with each other.
Beautiful. Sometimes
mine was just grays and blues, which is easy. Grays and blues.
And those can be reworn.
Royal blue and light blue. So we did blue.
I had only a maid of honor, and I was like, you pick out your dress and make sure it's a dress you want to wear to other things, because they're stupid and expensive, and I'll pay for it. And
my maid of honor she wore a dress to be my maid of honor. She rewore a dress she had worn as a bridesmaid to a different wedding. And I was like, please.
Yeah.
I was like, please do. That is awesome. I do not want you to have to buy a new dress for this.
Yeah, I paid for my girl dresses just because I was like, look, you're not wearing this again.
I know you're never touching this again.
Dress. Yeah. It was like a boat neck and like a A-line skirt. It was a super cute dress, but like, I don't know where you'd wear this again, just knowing your guys' personality types. So I
was a bridesmaid at my best guy friend's wedding, and it was a black tie event, and the dress was like a very expensive ball gown, and I was a waitress, and I'm like, I can't afford this.
Yeah.
And the groom bought it for me because he's my best pal. But
that's so nice.
Yeah, but I'm like, what is this? What is this black tie wedding? Are you kidding me? I can't. It was beautiful. It was the most beautiful wedding I've ever been to, other than maybe my own, because,
of course,
you know.
At Derek's wedding, we all thought his lady bride was dying, and that's why they were getting married. Because
hold on, this is a lore drop. What are you talking about?
So we didn't think Derek was going to get married just because he's not a very traditional guy, whatever. He had his lady bride, and they lived together, and we're happy, and we just figured that was it. And then they all of a sudden they were like, we're gonna get married, and so
right now,
were like, okay,
next week,
all right, okay. So they get married, and they have a super tiny little ceremony, like at a cute little brunch spot with just like our parents and siblings, and they gave us all these little quotes to read. And all the quotes, I remember mine was about a vole, because like a vole is an anagram for love. But like every quote was like, till death do us part, sort of things. Like, sort of like, and when
Very
you die,
goth.
like it had a little bit of a goth vibe of like, love is for life. And when life is done, you and I will like redisperse into the universe, having loved one another, our souls it just felt very like,
very death forward,
and like very focused on and
the end.
Exactly. So like all of us are sitting in a row, and like I'm like looking at my sister, she's looking at me, we're all looking at each other like, is Valerie dying? Like, Derek would have gone. No, babes, she's just a gothy girl. But like there was like a good half hour there where we were all convinced that they were getting married for like Valerie's end of life insurance benefits. Like, dark.
That's great. That is one of the most Derek stories I've ever heard. So. No, knowing Derek for as long as I have now.
Yeah. So yeah. We all thought no, oh no.
Amanda, can I tell you the name a name idea that I thought of for our superhero?
Yes.
I'm assuming you've incorporated a lot of color into this
I haven't
design.
colored anything yet, but I'm about to start adding sort of like tertiary preliminary color stuff.
So under the assumption that our sort of main concepts here are punching and colors, right? The mantis shrimp is very, very colorful. Also, I can't believe I didn't mention this already, but Kelly mentioned that they will like signal to each other with those antennal scales. And I was reading this study that said that they have UV markings on those like paddles that only they can see. So like they can see, because they can see that range of UV light that like nothing else can see. So they can like signal to each other like, hey, look, it's so they can identify each other and not like give their position away to predators, because they can be like
secret.
It's so good. It's like that like spy ink that we used to like write with as a kid. Like, you'd have like the little UV light.
My son has a UV light right now that he's obsessed with. He has like a little that top secret on the other side.
It's so good. Okay, so we've got
it's punching on the paddles and like certain parts of their body too. So when they come up a little bit out of the burrow, because generally, and I think we mentioned mantis shrimp prefer to be kind of buried for the most part.
And they like sandy spots, right?
Yeah,
so
like sandy soils.
Mm-hmm.
They're good, very good at digging.
Yeah. So we've got punching, and we've got big emphasis on colors, the rainbow color spectrum, things like that. The name I was thinking is the Painbow.
Oh my gosh, love that!
Perfect, absolutely perfect. I think we have our episode title in the Painbow. It's wonderful.
And maybe a little bow right between the buns on the head, maybe a bow.
Oh yeah.
I think I might give her a Sailor Moon bow on the back too.
Oh my god, like a magical girl.
Yes, she has to be a magical girl. Oh my gosh. Okay, so she's just like walking around. She's like, I'm just regular shrimp. Nobody pay attention to me. And then, because there's always like that like 1 minute long sequence where it's like,
the change.
Yeah.
Rainbow.
That takes up a good significant portion of the episode.
And now inject the 2 minute change sequence so we don't have to animate 2 minutes of this 11-minute episode.
It's like a free couple of minutes of footage right there.
Good. And now, now the whole group has to transform one by one, every single one of them. But we've added the outer senshi. That's going to take 8 minutes. You heard me. Get on it.
I would love to see this magical girl sequence with regular shrimp transforming into the Painbow.
Yes.
Oh, perfect.
Her eternal form.
You know what I was also reading about them is that some species can produce this low frequency rumbling noise and because it's water, sound travels pretty far, and it's to let other potential mates know that you're there, Depending on how they're doing it, it's to tell predators, get away from me, I'm dangerous. And of course, like, more male posturing. Hear my grumbles, you don't want to mess with me. But I love the idea of just this grumbly, which tells me grumpy shrimp just hanging out on the bottom of the ocean.
I do like that they have to have some way of like communicating to each other at a slight distance so that they don't just like beat the absolute lights out of each other at any given moment.
Oh, I think I put in the Derek, if you can show the GIF that I put in there, so we can.
We love a good, and it's not the Spider-Man twerking GIF that I've been seeing.
No, he's just ever present. Yeah. Amanda created that GIF, and
it lives rent free in my head.
Yes.
I feel like maybe you guys like record so often that you've maybe tuned out the Spider-Man twerking and have forgotten what it looks like from a guest's perspective. There's been Spider-Man twerking in the corner this entire time.
Yeah.
It's kind of there doing his own thing.
Yeah, we made it. It was like an hour-long whim I went on that I was like, I gotta punch right in the face.
Look at the damage it does to the crab claw.
Oh wow, it really like spiderweb, like baseball.
It's a shatter.
Yeah,
it shatters that, and that's a thick, really thick arm on that crabby. It looks like a stone. I think it's a stone crab. But
boom! Wow. Look at him go.
Incredible, right?
Yeah, you can really tell like the hydraulic of it being like into his.
That's
imagine that hitting your thumb, Amanda. That's why.
It's got to be like at least 6d10 bludgeoning damage.
Easily. Critical.
Yeah. Yeah, that looks like it says giant crab in the description, but it looks like it's some type of stone crab, which are particularly dense. Have dense carapaces.
I'm imagining it punching my thumb now and like how it would absolutely split it. Are you ready for another lore drop? When my dad went crabbing, went crabbing when I was like 5. And then he got pinched by a crab and he had to wear a bandage on his finger for like, a week or whatever it was. I was a kid. But later that same week, I found a stone in the yard that looked like the pad of my dad's thumb. And I was convinced that the crab had pinched his thumb like off and that it had fallen off in the yard. And I was like,
I love kid logic.
Yeah. This is just like the logic you come up with as a kid. You're like thinking about your dad's messed up thumb, and then you find a rock that looks like a.
If you, like me, had the type of dad that it would always do this move right here, the taking off your thumb sort of thing, then you were primed to believe that this part of the thumb is just removable at will. So it wouldn't be that far
they're not doing enough to make that make sense. Like you could really prime a kid for believing that. They're like, oh, when you're an adult, you can take your thumbs off like a lizard takes off their tail.
Yeah, it just kind of forms a cleavage point right here. It's just
it's fine.
But you won't get it until you're older, you know? And
yeah.
Oh my gosh. Because like the grown body is already so mysterious to a child.
And also kids will just believe whatever.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, they just trust you, idiots.
My dad told me the hazard lights button in his car, you know, the little like triangles, the button with the triangles. He said that was a self-destruct button, and that if I ever pressed it, the whole car would explode. And I was like, are you joking? And he was like,
why would you press it
and find out? And I was like, I won't. And so I never did. And I didn't find out that he was lying until I was like a teenager and driving my own car, and I saw that button there and I was like,
okay, but what does it really do?
I was like, I really thought about it. I was like, I don't think they would put that button there. But like even still, every time I need to turn my hazards on for a second, I have that hesitation of like, but what if the car's about to explode?
It's like how every kid believes that turning on the like in-cab light will get you pulled over by the cops, and your parents
it's illegal
directly to jail. How dare you have this light we installed in the car when you bought it?
I don't understand that at all, because now that I have my own kids, I totally do not mind if they have the lights on. It's not that big a deal. I don't know what they were tripping about. Like,
you know, the other people on the highway might see that the children are in the car.
Like, I'm totally fine with telling your kids that stuff is illegal. That's totally fine.
Yeah,
that's not my issue. My issue is like, what were you guys so worried about? It's not that big a deal.
Nope, not allowed.
I'm very excited to see our magical girl.
Yeah, I'm going to toss some, like I said, preliminary colors on. I got to pull up a good. It's a gaudy palette, you guys. It's purple, blue, green, and poppy red.
Jewel tones. It's jewel tones.
Yeah, it's all jewel tones, and they do come in a variety of colors. Some of them, like the zebra mantis shrimp, which is the biggest one, is really just that black and white zebra pattern. They're about almost 16 inches long. They can be pretty big boys and gals. Yeah.
I've seen videos of people like reaching, you shouldn't do this, but I've seen videos of people reaching into mantis shrimp burrows and like pulling them out. And these things can be forearm size. Like these things are huge.
So they're like lobster size, basically. Like super
small lobster.
Supermarket stores.
Yeah. Yeah.
These things are huge. Yeah, they're no joke. You would absolutely know one if you saw one. There's some of them that are kind of boring looking too. There's like some of them that are just like camouflage, so they're like gray and
we're not here for
kind of brownish.
Boring.
I don't know her.
Yeah, they prefer
because
the
like
tones.
Clearly, like we've seen what you can do with the peacock mantis shrimp. We know you can do better. Like, we know where the bar is, and you're not meeting it. So the zebra one is pretty cool though.
The stripingness is cool on the zebra.
That one is cool. I do like that one. That is a viable alternative.
But there's just no beating the peacock.
Yeah. I will say that some like...
Although there's a bright blue one that's very cool.
Ooh.
I don't remember what species that was, but it's all blue.
I will say that there are some interesting like similarities. There are some interesting similarities with like praying mantises or like mantis like insects. I think like aesthetically at least, because they have like the folded up little arms and the eyes. Like I think they have some interesting, even though like with mantises they're not punching stuff, like they're like grabbing stuff and pulling it in. Yeah. So it's a different mechanic, but it is like visually similar at least.
That's why I think it's why they call them mantis shrimp. It's that prayer posture. It's
very like puppy dog, like begging sort of posture.
Then it rips your thumb in half.
we were at OMSI, and some kid kept calling the big thick stick bug a praying mantis, and it took all of my power not to be like, actually.
Like I get where you're coming from,
but the sign's right there.
Like learn to read.
Learn to read, please, child.
Kid's like 3. Literacy is key.
How old are kids when they start to read? Speaking as a non-parent.
My 5-year-old can read basic words like red or box or mom, dad, that sort of stuff.
So around 4 to 5.
Yeah, is when you learn like the basics. I would say you're not really a fluent reader till like 3rd grade.
So. Yeah, because my cat's like 15 and he can't read anything.
Yeah, so. What an idiot.
Real disappointment.
Poor Finn's got no chance with his missing eye. His depth perception's all wrong.
Well, Finn.
he's got dyslexia. His fatal weakness.
Well, Finn's younger. Finn's like 4, but Darcy's like 14, and he's got no excuse. He should be able to read by now. Come on.
He's not paying the bills either. Man. What a freeloader.
Oh, cats are the most freeloady of all pets.
We had a crane fly in our house the other day, and I was like, Aki, that's my cat. I was like, this is your chance. It's your time to shine. You can pull your weight. You can start actually putting some work in. Nothing. He just watched it very intently and acted like he was about to pounce on it. And then
he probably felt bad for it because crane flies are clearly the dumbest insect to ever.
Oh my god! Just bopping around your house. Yeah.
Stupid idiot.
Very dumb. They just fly into everything. Them and cicadas are in a race to see who is the dumbest bug, I think.
But I feel like if you had a cicada in your house, that would quickly become very obvious.
Oh yeah,
we get crane flies in our house all the time, and we just don't notice them because they're just like zooping around up there.
Yeah, because they stay kind of high. A cicada is going to be on the floor, probably buzzing, freaking out.
My favorite thing in the world is those videos of dogs that have picked up cicadas in their mouths and they're just like standing there like they don't know what to do. They're like, I picked it up and it's screaming. I don't know why.
It's like actively like buzzing around in their mouth.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. And then you're like, hey, give it to me. And they're like, what?
Just drop it. And they're like, I don't know how to.
What do now? What do?
Help.
Any listeners, if this happens to be your first episode, we do have a whole cicada episode in the back catalog you can check out.
With friend of the podcast, Roger.
Friend of the podcast, Roger, yeah, who did the art and the a cool little graphic novel.
Ellen also has a cicada episode.
Do you?
I do. Nice. I have two cicada episodes. Yes.
Yeah, check out
one from
just
a very long time ago specifically on the periodical cicadas from the Brood 10 emergence. And then earlier this year, I had a guest on who did a whole sort of a deeper dive into like cicadas sort of in general, where we talked about like why they emerge in prime number like intervals, intervals of prime numbers, which was really interesting, and like the sort of natural history of cicadas, and it was really, really cool. So we got a chance to really get into cicadas, which was very fun. I'm from the South. I am from a place where the cicadas do scream. I kind of miss them now. Like we're getting into the summertime and it feels weird for it to be summer and not hear cicadas. That is kind of strange. I
was going to ask how you enjoying your first PNW summer.
So we moved here in the summer last year. So we got the tail end of the summer last year, and it is perfect. I'm constantly flexing on my family back home. Be like, oh look, it's 70 degrees and it's not thunderstorming, so it's really nice. This was a wet spring though to sort of muscle through. This was kind of a gloomy spring.
I hate to tell you this, it was not a very wet spring.
I guess it was like it was wetter than it was last year when we visited. So but it was nice. I really didn't mind it. Oh, this is my first summer with cottonwood fluff everywhere. Yes. I didn't know I literally did not know that was a thing. Had never heard of it before. That was a fun surprise.
Just floating around out there.
Yeah, there's just fluff everywhere. I was like, this is so whimsical. Because you get the cherry blossoms, right? Where like there's cherry blossom petals all over the ground and all in the air and everything. So you get this wave of cherry blossoms, and then you get a wave of cottonwood. So like I feel like you get these sort of like waves of whimsical things flying around in the air.
Oh my gosh, guys, this might be too bright. It's done now.
You're too late now. You got to commit.
I've committed to the bit at this point. Oh my gosh.
We love a bit commitment, so it's fine.
This is a Prismacolor hero. My gosh.
Excellent. That's exactly what I wanted.
I can't wait to see this.
It's a little bit like if the Ninja Turtles threw up. Okay. We're gonna get there.
Derek said Lisa Frank.
Yeah, Lisa Frank vibes for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, which I mean, you can't do better than a Lisa Frank magical girl.
Honestly,
top tier
90s. Pink hair. I think
pink hair. Well, let's pull up that photo of the peacock mantis shrimp. What's the top of that head look like?
It's kind of got the purpley eyes. Maybe do purple hair.
I like purple. Oh yeah, if the buns are representing the eyes, then I think purple's a good one for the eyes.
I agree. Let's go purple hair. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is a lot. Okay.
I guess the peacock is a little more blue, but I like purple. I think purple's going to work.
Purple's good.
Yeah.
I always say this. So in the original, I'm sorry, I'm too far for the mic. I'll come back over.
I can hear you surprisingly well.
Well, I'm a very loud beezy, as they say. So in the manga for Sailor Moon, originally her hair changed color too. To like sometimes white, sometimes like a light pink. And then they didn't do that for the anime because it was like creating a whole other character sheet and they were like unwilling to. But for me, it makes way more sense. She also originally wears a mask. It makes way more sense if like her hairstyle is so distinct. If I saw anyone just walking around with that yellow hair in two buns with the long, I'd be like, are you Sailor Moon? Excuse me.
That was definitely, I think, the first time I saw like hair buns like that as a kid.
I think they're Udango, something.
Yeah,
they have like a special name.
Definitely not like a hairstyle I was familiar with.
Right.
But I also remember being a kid and watching Sailor Moon. First of all, it was the first anime I'd ever seen, so it was really difficult for me to explain like what I was like what I was looking at. I was like, it's a cartoon, but it's different.
Yeah, something about different.
But also like I was having a hard time explaining what it was to like my parents, because I would be like, they're all sailors. And they're like, oh, so they're like Popeye. And I was like, no, not like that.
Close, but also not at all.
No, they're like pretty girls.
I went as Sailor Jupiter for Halloween like that year when it was big.
It's like a mistranslation of the word cosmonaut, which so like it has roots in the idea of like sailors. Yeah, exactly. Because like cosmonaut is also just kind of
she should be like Astro Moon instead, right?
Yeah, exactly. But like the relationship between Japanese and English is already like complicated, so like sure, go for it.
They made the lesbians cousins.
So they just released the redub. They redubbed all the voices, which in some ways is better, but in other ways is worse because Serena doesn't have that like noise anymore she used to do in the 90s. Now she's like a girl the whole time. But yeah,
it's a barrier of watching the show. It is like legitimately makes it like I tried to like rewatch it not too long ago, and I was like, there's no way I'm getting through this.
On YouTube, they have like the original 90s like the best moments, like smash cuts, and sometimes the voice acting choices, because you gotta remember that anime wasn't a big deal yet. Like only a few had gotten good translations, like Cowboy Bebop and Trigun. Everything else was just Pokemon and they're eating jelly donuts, which are very clearly rice balls, so they just kind of had free reign to do what they wanted. And like sometimes it means like moon power makeup, and you're like, what is happening with the voice acting? So that's why they redid it recently, and now season 5, where the cross-dressing, possibly magically gendered characters have finally made it. They're available in the US.
I remember when I first got into Sailor Moon, I was in that period of my life where I was like a very aggressive tomboy and like same. Like, also like a little bit of a contrarian. So I was like, I don't like girly things. I don't like pink. I don't like dresses, with the one exception of Sailor Moon. I was like, I will let Sailor Moon slide. That is one I will actually.
Are you me?
Alone, I will embrace. Yeah.
Are you me, Ellen? Because that is exactly.
Yeah.
I was like, I will allow Sailor Moon. That was my sort of caveat. I was like, I have carved out a little exception for Sailor Moon. You can stay. You're
on thin ice, but for now.
You're on thin ice because of Tuxedo Mask.
Yeah,
there's a man in this, so we are going to have to. I'm watching you.
Okay, I'm just adding her heat blast, and I think we're good.
I'm just scrolling through pictures of Sailor Moon.
Yeah, do it. Every now and then, my Pinterest gets absolutely destroyed by Sailor Moon pictures. Just every now and then.
I have a Sailor Moon T-shirt that I wear sometimes, and I'm always surprised by how many teenagers compliment my shirt.
Oh yeah, it's come back around. Everything comes.
It has come back in a big way. The youths are very into Sailor Moon now, which is very validating for me. I'm like, oh, thank God, finally.
All right, here we go. Save.
I have such an interesting array of Google image tabs open in my browser right now.
I try not to wear shirts or stuff where people may be inclined to come up and speak to me, because I believe I have like an approachable way about me.
Yeah, face
can be very exhausting. And the other day I had a baseball cap on. It said the Mothman fan club, and a dude came up to me and was like, "Oh, that's a great hat. I think Mothman is great." And I'm like, "Oh, what have I done?"
Yeah,
I'm like, "Yeah, Mothman's pretty cool."
That's all I want to say about that.
End of conversation.
I wear a lot of t-shirts for stuff I like because I love attention.
Attention makes me very uncomfortable, and Yeah. I mean, if someone, I'm not like, I don't know, I'm not a jerk, especially if you come up and you speak to me, I'm not going to be rude, but it does make me slightly uncomfortable.
I feel like podcasting is perfect for that because like you can still, it's like low stakes in the recording of it, but like you can still sort of like it's a one-way conversation. I'm telling you, you ain't telling me nothing.
Although I've gotten some very nice compliments on the internet about the podcast. People are like, "Oh, I love your podcast. It's fun," or whatever.
Every
and
time
I'm like,
someone's
"Okay,
like,
that's nice. I like that."
Amanda was so funny. I'm like, "Whomst? Please do not perceive me."
Amanda, the darling of the show.
My husband is the one. Oh, look at her!
Here comes the Painbow.
My God!
Oh, she is garish in all the right ways.
Yeah, she's bright. She is definitely.
The epaulets are exactly what I wanted.
Yeah,
she's definitely going about like that Robin. Batman's all black, and then Robin's in the bright color to like distract you. She's definitely going for that sort of vibe. She's bright.
She's perfect, and the little and the punch with the puff of heat blast coming out of it. Oh my God, that is exactly what I wanted.
Well, there you go. I'm glad I had the Chun-Li pose ready to go, because otherwise I would have been like, my pose.
You absolutely crushed it.
It's very funny,
her.
and I want to know her.
I
want her to come up to me on the street and say hello. That's fine with me.
She's definitely a contender for like write a short story about Painbow. I want to know what she's up to.
I want her to pick me up.
Yeah. She'll treat you right. Or not. We'll find out.
Honestly,
let it happen.
It's fine. Yeah.
She'll step on you, Alan. Don't worry about it. She will.
We gotta mess around and find out occasionally and hope it works out all right.
Are you willing to put your thumbs on the line?
She can split my thumbs any day. Oh, I love her. She's perfect. You absolutely nailed it 100%.
Well, I sometimes we get it right. I feel like we did this time.
Spot on. Oh, we've got a Mantis Shrimp Magical Girl.
So
Mantis Shrimp Magical Girl is a great title by itself. Yeah. It sells the whole idea in one. Mantis Shrimp Magical Girl.
How many legs are we giving Mantis Shrimp?
How many legs does Mantis Shrimp have? Because is not insect. is many legs. I don't know how many of these count as legs and how many are just
what are we counting as limbs?
Technically, like the whole mermaid tail could be its own limb, frankly.
You could have each like little pleat of the skirt be like a little, I don't know.
So they technically have 8 pairs of legs. It's a lot of legs.
That's a lot of legs. So they have 16 total?
Total, yeah.
That's right. Well, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is, 16 out of 16, 10 out of 10. I'm going full bore anyway.
Cool. Yeah, I'm comfortable with 16 out of 16. She's pretty... There's a whole lot going on.
I just think about, like, what's going to try and eat a mantis shrimp, knowing that it's going to get
plenty
blasted
of things eat them. You just got to, like... That carapace
from behind.
Yeah, exactly. You sneak up.
That sort of the hardness of their carapace really only extends to the tail part. So I think if you can grab the upper body from behind.
So like a snake, you got to grab it like right behind the head.
Yeah,
and then you
crunch
it before it can get you.
People eat them. They are eaten in the Mediterranean, parts of Asia. Yeah, they're food.
I was gonna say it's. I looked up where it is, and it's a lot of like that.
But people eat everything, so
that's true. We'll eat anything, even when it evolves to hurt us. We're like, spicy, delicious,
spicy. So I think
I would try it if someone else killed it for me.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
Ellen, some man with no thumbs.
Ellen, how many legs would you give Mantis Shrimp out of 16 then?
10 legs. 10 legs out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Perfect.
16 out of 16.
So I think
16 legs. Sorry, 16 legs out of 16.
The full leg complement. That's that's 3 full legginess. And I think we've covered everything for this incredible magical species. Any final thoughts on the topic before we?
Got to be one of the animals ever.
Yeah. It's a little OP, to be honest. All right. Well, if you enjoyed hearing about Mantis Shrimp and Magical Girls, you can always find us on the Reddit, on the Insta, on Facebook. Come join us. Come talk to us. And you can also jump into the Just the Zoo of Us, always full of memes on the Facebook and Reddit as well.
And the Discord, right? Just the Zoo of Us has a Discord.
We do have a Discord,
I believe.
Oh, sure I gotta hop on. I gotta get in.
We will put a link to where to find Ellen and Just the Zoo of Us in the show notes. And maybe those 2 cicada episodes we mentioned can pop in the notes too.
Yeah. I also wanted to mention that I have 2 Mantis Shrimp episodes. One of them is episode 19, but that was back in 2019, so it wasn't the most up to date. It was kind of older news at that point. The more up to date one is episode 101. That was Mantis Shrimp on July of 2021. So it was a little bit more up to date.
Awesome.
So episode 101 would be a great place to go for that.
We'll link that episode in the show notes too then, so the folks can find it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for coming again. We always a good time.
It is. I love hanging out with y'all. Thank you for having me.
We'll get you on again before too long, I'm sure.
Well, y'all about to come talk to me about Godzilla, so don't.
Yeah. Let us know. We'll plan a date and we'll come over to your show next.
I would love that.
It'll be fun.
Thanks, y'all.
All right. Love you. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening. Links to the Bugs Need Heroes podcast can be found in the episode description, so please go check them out and follow their podcast and socials, where you can also find the art that Amanda made for this episode. The Painbow ended up looking awesome. You are going to love it. Next week, we will still be traveling, so we'll be reposting an old episode. We'll be back with a regular, brand new episode on the 29th. In the meantime, if you want to hang out with us online, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Discord, and TikTok. Links to everything will be in the episode description. You can also send me an email at ellen@justthezooofus.com if you have a cool animal you'd like to hear us talk about on the show. We would like to thank Maximum Fun for having us on their network alongside the other wonderful shows like the ones that you heard promos for here today. You can go check those out and learn more about the network and how you can be a part of supporting our show over at MaximumFun.org. The Bugs Need Heroes theme music is a track titled Ladybug Castle by Roll Music, which can be accessed at freemusicarchive.org. That's all for today. We'll see you next week. Thanks. Bye.
Maximum Fun, a worker-owned network
of artist-owned shows,
supported directly
by you.